This video is for exercise 7-14, aligning views between sheets. To start with, we're going to open the aligning_views.revit file, and then we're going to activate the sheet with the level 1 floor plan. So we need to find the sheet with the level 1 floor plan. We're going to double click on that. In the properties pane, it says to scroll down and note that the grid guide is set to none. So over here in the properties pane, we're going to scroll down. It says grid guide none. We're going to activate the view ribbon. And on the view ribbon, we want to select grid guide. The grid guide is located in the sheet composition. And again, you can just hover over these and they tell you the names of stuff. And that's okay if it takes you a couple minutes to find it. That's the point of this, is that you learn where the tools are located. Okay, so then it says we're going to create new, and it says grid guide 1. We're going to press OK. And now you see all these grids popped up on the screen. We're going to select the grid guide, so I'm going to go to the edge to select it. And then I'm going to select the guide spacing to be 2 inches. So this is just like laying a piece of grid paper over this drawing. I'm going to hit apply. Now the grid updates, and you can see that there's blue grips in here. I'm going to use those, and I'm going to adjust it so that my guide fits right in between my window on my sheet. Okay, so it doesn't extend past it. I'm going to make it nice and neat. Perfect. Now we want to select the viewport. So the viewport, this is the viewport right here. Oh, well, right there. And we want to select the Move tool from the Modify panel. That's our viewport. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it wasn't sized. This is our viewport right here. See, it even says it, viewport. So click on that and select the Move tool. Select on grid line 1. So it wants us to select grid line 1 and then select the grid guide. So I'm going to select, I'm just going to pick this corner here, grid line 1. And then I'm going to select the grid guide. Okay. So you'll see that the view snaps to align with the grid. And we're going to repeat to shift grid line C to align with the grid guide. So now I'm going to just click on this again, hit move, grid line C, and I'm going to move it up to align with the grid line. Okay, so now you can see it's aligning it with those grids. We have 1 and C aligned with the grids. And this is all helping us to line this up on the paper. And the purpose is that when you're flipping through a set of drawings, you don't want to flip from like level 1 to level 2 to level 3 in the drawings. Up here on one, the drawings over here on another, drawings over here. You want them to always be in the same spot, so it's just easier for people to find information. So it's about organizing your information properly. Okay, so now we're going to activate the sheet named High Roof. And in the Properties pane, we're going to set the grid guide to grid guide 1 and hit apply. We're going to select the viewport, so there's the viewport, and we're going to select the Move tool from the Modify panel, and we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to move that over like that. And then we're going to select grid line C, and we're going to move it up like that. Okay. We're going to verify that the view is aligned to the same grid guide as we did in level 1. So let's look. I should have counted first. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to count them. So it's like a half, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to count here a half, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, so that's right for grid line 1. Now level, let's go make sure C is right. A half, 1, 2, 3. Oop, and then a half, and then 1, 2, 3. Yep, so it's aligned in the same spot. We're going to type VV, which is the Visibility and Graphics Override dialog box. And we're going to select the Annotations category. We want to disable the visibility of the grid guide. So we'll scroll down until we find grid guide, and everything's in alphabetical order. We want to uncheck it so it's not visible. And we're going to press OK. So now we can't see the grid guide, but it is still guiding the location of this drawing. We just didn't want to see it because it makes the drawing hard to read. We're going to select the viewport again, and then up here we're going to pin it. And what that does is it locks that drawing to that specific location so that now I can't move it. See, around the drawing, around the title block, it's just moving right in there. Or it stays where I pinned it, excuse me. Now we're going to activate the low roof sheet. We're going to select the grid guide from the view ribbon. Note that you can select the existing grid guide 1, so we're going to say OK. We're going to note in the properties pane that grid guide 1 is selected. We're going to select the view, and on the options bar it says set the rotation on the sheet to 90 degrees clockwise. So now you see the building rotated. So the view rotates. And the reason that I did that was just to show you that you can rotate your view, and typically in an architectural drawing, the entrance to a building is always pointing down. So a couple things that we learned. One, we learned how to align the drawings on the grid. You could type VV here as well and hide those grid lines. It didn't ask you to, but you could. So we aligned those two drawings, and then for this one we just rotated it to show you how that tool worked. And that is the end of that exercise.